potency you have in supporting couples, and how did that happen, and how did you recognize your kind of couple whispering gifts? That's the question.
Nice. It was literally, it felt like a discovery. It felt like something I discovered. Like I felt, in hindsight, I feel like, you know, like somebody who, you know, had one of these epiphanies of a type of psychotherapeutic work that just has these profound effects. And since then, I've just been, first and foremost, I've just been blown away by the results. Like every single couple I look back at who's tried this has gone away beautifully grateful, on a spectrum from grateful to, you know, bowing at my feet in gratitude for the miracle that they just experienced. And most of the couples are actually more toward that end of the spectrum. It is really, really magical. And so I really feel like I'm on the forefront of a discovery, and that discovery happened through my particular system, and all the work that I've done has gone into being able to guide and help people access and live in this certain way that allows for these kind of beautiful unfoldings that occur in the sessions that I do. So I think that answers your question. I know it's a long-winded way of saying it, but that's like what comes up.
Yeah. So beautiful to hear that. It brought up a question that, as you were describing, like this unwinding process, and where I understand that the relational aligning process and the modality that you're working with couples with can be effective for like any range of where people are at in their relationship. And it's enhancing and clarifying and unwinding. And I feel curious, like with, I'm guessing some couples that you work with find themselves in what they feel like is a really kind of crystallized and like very entrenched dynamic where they can't even really communicate to each other at all. And so I guess my question is around how does the process work in a dynamic where the couple feels unsure if they can even stay together, and they're just almost to a brink of really not being able to communicate to each other and in so much pain. So it's like I think in my mind that a lot of people could understand the process if they're just in like a little bubble, or they're just using the process to keep enhancing and keeping communication open as they're in the relating. But like, what about the couple that is years down the road of a really painful dynamic that has just been growing and growing? And
very great question. Very great question. I love it. And so I also just love that word enhancing. Like this practice and these sessions and what I teach and what I offer, it literally is there. That is the main effect, is enhancing. I often use the word optimizing, but I love enhancing. That's just the sweetest way of saying it. So yeah, wherever a couple is, wherever two people are, you don't even have to be in a love relationship. It could be, you can do this with friends, or I've done it with my mom, and it literally is just enhancing. But for those people who are really stuck, really crystallized in a very painful, entrenched place, that's where you might need a little support, and that's where I have been nicknamed the couples whisperer, because it's literally like meeting this wild creature that is entrenched in a certain pattern, like can't help but like try to throw off and recreate the same frustrating pattern over and over. And it's, when a couple's been in that for a long time, it can just feel, you know, daunting and depressing. Now, the way that I serve a couple like that is basically along the lines of what I just said. It's like I tame the wild beasts that are in each of those people. So basically what an entrenched, crystallized experience like that boils down to is that each of those people have inside of them a very contracted, a very tight, and a very hurting an upset, angry aspect of themselves that now is pretty much automatically, even the sight or the hearing of the other person's name can just be enough to set off this like contracted, defended, held in stance. It's even like at the level of a vibration. It's just a defended place. And when a couple is crystallized like that, both people are doing that. So it actually is like you're getting in on those crystallized places, letting them soften and open and melt into their component parts that make up that hardened, crystallized, frustrated thing. And when two people are able to do that, which the support I give in this practice allows for, so let's say this one person is in this contracted state. In that contracted state is a few ingredients. There's resentment, oftentimes, anger, frustration, and a whole lot of grief, confusion, and some unspoken things that are wanting to be delivered in a way that they know the other person hears them and responds to them. So in this practice, I will go through almost like layer by layer by layer for each person. And my kind of inner radar system, I have kind of like this, again, it's almost like seeing the Matrix when I'm doing these sessions with people. I can kind of see, oh, this is what's going on here. This is what needs to come online first. This is what needs to, it's like unweaving, unwinding, and just alchemizing these shifts, one little intricate layer at a time. And once that happens, then there's a softening, and that co-mutual relational field starts to get a shift in it, a softening in it. Now, when it's that crystallized, well, I have had some sessions, just even one session, of massive changes. Usually it takes, 3, 4, 5, but within 3 to 5 sessions of this, you will get a massive, massive shift to the point where each person is saying, we're done, we're out of that. And wow, that's where what I call a relationship miracle. We're just, we're in the, like, I think that's what every couple in a frustrated dynamic wants, is that great and all powerful, just like, that thing, it's behind us. We no longer are caught in that. And so within that number of sessions, anywhere from 1 to, like, it's usually 5 at the outset, you will have a massive shift. And you will then
like fundamental
shift, exactly. A fundamental release, a fundamental clarity, a fundamental ability to then communicate and move forward in a healthy way, whatever that looks like. And that can be different for every couple. But that's kind of what has to happen. It has to be this kind of like taming of the inner beasts, and then allowing for the components that are held in those emotional bodies to be known, to be experienced, to be named, to be articulated, to be heard in that relational field. Then a softening and an unwinding starts to occur, and you do that layer by layer by layer, and you have two totally different beings. You have two beings who each had, in some ways, they each got this incredible therapy individually for themselves, because I call this a 3-for-1 deal. Each person, that person just got an incredible piece of healing and evolving for their own life and their own journey. And this person did too. And then the third thing is that the relational field is softened, is opened, can start to move in a way that's aligned with love and truth again. That's what I'm always aiming for, is just helping people align with love and truth, love and truth, love and truth, and allowing life to live through them in that way.
That's what I'm getting. It's like the work that you're doing is it's like a core essence level shift in each person and in the relational field as a whole. And that feels so different than other couples' work that I've heard other people talk about. Well, they had 1 session or 2 sessions, and it was like a little momentary blip of relief, or like a little release valve. But then a month later, they're just back in the same dynamic.
Yes, exactly.
And it sounds like the work that you're doing is really addressing these core places where it's like a core fundamental shift in each individual, and like a continued shift.
That's right.
In the relationship. So not just a one-time.
That's
release.
right.
It's like, or just like fine-tuning.
Yes.
Different ways of sharing. You're not just creating a container for people to feel supervised in sharing or something.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
You're like getting to the core level. It's
deep.
It's change.
You got it.
And that feels really unique and different. And it sounds like the work you're offering is also something that they can implement and continue post-session, right? Like, do you offer homework or that kind of a thing?
Yes, definitely. And that's beautifully said. It is like core level. It gets down to the depths, to the roots. Instead of just working at the surface and getting a little moment that feels better, you're getting to the root of where these dynamics started from in the first place, where that painful thing set in. See, each person came into that relationship with an already pulsing wound in them. And that's the miracle of relationship, is you find somebody whose pulsing wound matches yours, and theirs triggers yours, and yours triggers them, and then it sets in a way that if we don't know how to work with that at a deep level, it does set in these frustrating patterns that then end up in just like, wow, a lot of times people just throw in the towel. It's so frustrating. Even if you do like get through the fight, but it's that deeper fundamental thing is not softened, healed. I call it alchemy, like deep emotional soul level alchemy. So this process actually gets in on that, and it does create those deeper, like the underbelly of your heart is actually shifting. The way you are, the human being that you are, actually shifts in a deep way. So that's the whole idea of it. And yes, I very much do give homework. So let's say if I'm with a couple and I know, okay, we're going to do a couple, we need to do 2 or 3. In between those sessions, I'm giving very distinct homework on how to work with your triggers, how to like not recreate the escalation, how to like stop the old patterns.
Right, like individually and together.
Exactly, yes. And then later, I'm going to be giving homework. Basically, the homework is going to be how to do this relational aligning practice on your own at home to keep optimizing things. To me, it's like the ultimate tool. It's like relationship yoga on steroids. It's like the thing for your entire life of relating. And it really like gets things juiced up, optimized, and it doesn't just keep you from getting into the negative cycles. You know, once we're out of the negative cycles, then the real fun begins. Then we can start enhancement. We can start like bringing online what is possible in a love relationship, which is an ever up-leveling loop. It's like instead of these frustration, vicious cycles, we get an up-leveling kind of positive feedback loop of love and celebration and connection and intimacy and yumminess. And, you know, so I can give homework along those lines to just get on that track, which is what I feel all love relationship has the potential to be, is this loop. Like that's how it actually works when we align with the natural laws of the human heart and we get out of the old gravitational pull of those deeper triggers. We get those loosened up and we get back into this other harmonic and we start dancing together well. And wow, then, you know, that's where the real goodness happens.
Such a gift. That's what kept popping in my mind. It's like it's such a gift, not just in the moment of the sessions, but for the life of that relationship.